I guess for me, the as far as stepping into being an intuitive coach, that sort of comes later. Like it was probably related to the disappointments and hurt and grief and any numerous number of things, which I'll talk more about when we discuss body image. But you know, all those type of things, which yeah, sort of led me into self-exploration. And I guess probably the turning point for me would have been in about 1999. Can't do the math, I'm not sure what that is, but in 99, I was working in a health field, and there was some trauma that happened in the unit that I was working in. And actually, like a lot of things that we have, there's a mirror, and it held up a mirror in front of me, and I really had to look at what I had not resolved previously for myself. So that was a wee bit of a challenge. And so once that was the beginning of doing things differently. So I actually I did nursing in my 30s, and then I have done postgraduate work in nursing. I've done counselling, but there was always an emptiness, and especially after that event that happened in 1999. I remember the year vividly. I actually needed to do things differently, and so I started doing what I call complementary therapies, and working with those. So for me, it was like, you know, anything from bush fluorescences, colour therapy, even working with angels, lots of different modalities, you know, Reiki, cellular healing type things, so many different things. But when I thought I had this thirst for knowledge, I thought, oh wow, I can't wait to teach these things, and I went into teaching some of them. But the reality was I was doing it for me, and like many of us, we don't realise that we're really doing it for ourselves. And it was like, oh my gosh, a light bulb moment was like, oh my God, all this is for me. And really I had to get to the point where I didn't have to give a hoot about anyone or anything except for me at one point. And then once I got past there, I was able to step forward, and an intuitive coach sort of developed by combining, you know, mainstream with counselling, with the metaphysical. I did my diploma in metaphysics, which was just amazing. I just loved it. You know, which even included crystal healing and things like that, Corinna. So it was just like, yes, I love this. So yeah, that was part of the journey, I guess. And I just feel so, I just love sharing it, and I love sharing it because I know where I've come from to where, you know, to where I sit today. And actually, can I just read a little page of it? Yeah. So this is the Modern Day Miracles book, Louise Hay and Friends. So I got my little story published in here.
Oh,
so,
brilliant.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous, but I just want to share it because this sort of sums a lot of it up. So, what a job can reflect back to you, by Robyn, healing therapist and clinical nurse specialist in Australia. So I would say that the moment Louise L. Hay touched my life occurred in 1999. At that time, I was working as a nurse in a psychiatric unit. During my period of employment there, aggression appeared to increase among the patients around me. When I was physically assaulted by one of them, I froze, and I knew that I needed to leave. I was quite a gentle soul, and this environment greatly affected me. I went to my local New Age store in quite a state, wondering how my life was going to proceed. That's when I saw Louise's books, Heal Your Body and Heal Your Life, and the rest is history. I moved forward and never looked back. I recognised the fact that my experiences at work were encouraging me to look at my own past history and the effects that it had. Many people have been physically healed through Louise's work, and although my experiences was more about my career at that time, I knew I needed to address some difficult things in my life in order to prevent any further physical symptoms or illness from occurring. I'd already had many issues relating to the female reproductive area over the years, including miscarriage, ectopic pregnancies, and a stillbirth. The tragedy of losing both my daughter and my mother within a few years of each other, had also taken me through a huge grieving process, which included actions that I wasn't proud of. And needless to say, the guilt and lack of self-worth I encountered were tremendous. I came to recognise that my work as the psychiatric unit was only reflecting back to me the aspects of my life that I needed to examine in order to move forward on my path. Now, thanks to working with many of Louise's books and videos, I can honestly say that I have learned to love myself on a whole new level. Today, I still work personally with Louise's affirmations, and I share them with my clients as well. That's right, I'm now working as a healing therapist and a teacher of varying healing modalities. I feel that I have the perfect job for me in that I am surrounded by love and positive energy all the time. I encourage my clients to have a copy of the Heal Your Life or You Can Heal Your Life and I Can Do It book and CD in their own personal library. I especially love the Louise O'Hay book collection with the gift editions of Heal Your Life and You Can Heal Your Life Companion and the meditations. It represents the beauty of her work, and if the clients and students who come to me can only reap a small amount of what I've been blessed to receive, then that is all I or anyone could ask for. And I thank you, Louise, for touching the lives of so many. So I think that sort of sums up the beginning.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Yeah. And you know, what a journey you have been on. It's an honor to be able to have you here to share that, because you just have so much knowledge and wisdom, and you've integrated it all together to become this beautiful person that you are. And we're just so blessed to have you here to share this with us. And you know, I'm just so grateful. And I love that our paths crossed, and you know, everything for a reason. And I feel like, you know, the universe does work in this magical way, and it just brings the right people together at the right time to be able to deliver this message that I think is so important.
Exactly.
So
thank you, Emma. It's a work in progress, and it will continue to be a work in progress. I mean, you know, we have things every day. We live life. We live. We have experiences, and we grow. So, yeah. So thank you. So, intuitive coach sort of evolved over time, and it had different, like some, you know, the main thing, I'm not doing so many one-on-ones at the moment. Well, actually, I'm not doing any one-on-ones. So I've been doing workshops and retreats, and I organised women's conference, and now I'm actually in the midst of writing. So that's where I'm at.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
Body image.
Body image, something that's so dear to my heart. Something I've struggled with for many, many years. And interestingly enough, I guess I learnt a lot about body image when Doreen Virtue's book, The Yo-Yo Diet Syndrome. So she wrote this book in 1989, and she called for a research assistant to do some research and to verify or discount what she'd written in the book to do the next edition. And I was the lucky person to got that role. So I learned a lot by reading a lot of journal articles, and so I learned so much. And to me, that was a point where I felt like this is so dear to my heart, and if you can impart any of this, then that's what's truly important. But what was more important for me at the time, because that was back in 2010, was to actually utilise it for myself. Yeah, so that's the beginning of probably really looking at body image in depth. And it just continues, and it continues in all ways. Like I remember doing a thesis on it in relation to colour, and which colour was missing of all the women. It was based on women at that time that had body image concerns, and it was really interesting. So it just goes on, and I love it. What I found fascinating, though, is more recently Taryn Brumfitt's body image movement. You're aware of her, are you?
Of who?
Body positivity. Taryn Brumfitt.
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, no. Okay, so she's sort of, it's the body image movement, and you know, she's all about body positivity. And this to me is quite often you'll see those articles. If you look up images on body image and body positivity, you often see a row of women standing there in black bikinis of all shapes and sizes. And to me, it's like, yes, they're all embracing who they are. It doesn't matter whether they're thin, it doesn't matter whether they're larger woman. It's just beautiful. And it's like, so this is what she's about, and this really fits with where I sit, and it's about that body positivity at so this is what's prompted me to you know, look further into this as well. So and it fits so much with where I'm at. So I guess when I look at do you know the what is it? It's a video clip by Colby Calais called Try.
See, this is stuff I haven't heard of, but is it stuff that the tribe can check out?
Yes, yeah. Yes. And so, like, I'll type it underneath what it is, but she's done a PowerPoint presentation with her song called Try. And it's actually got how we, like, it's women who try to look a certain way or be a certain thing. And so it could be as simple as someone who just can't leave the house without their makeup, or someone who has had chemotherapy and has to have, you know, a wig because they can't accept that you know, that they've had that hair loss and they don't want to be seen that way. And she looks at how people get their hair extensions and have to look a certain way. Like, it's just all this thing that it's about. It's called Try. Yeah. And it says, you don't have to try. And I just love it. And it's like, no, we don't. Oh my God, we can just be ourselves. And so I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those things. They're fantastic and they all have their place. But let's do it because we just want to adorn ourselves, but not because we are put down, you know, we're sort of feeling some form of disgust or some form of repulsion or some form of less than, that we have to do it. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely. Yeah. Well, I mean, for myself, like, I was severely bullied from the age of 5 until about the age of 15. I was called ugly, I was called fat, I was called all different types of names. I was spat at, I was kicked, I was punched. It was physical and mental bullying. And it took me a very long time to be able to move through that in my life, and I'm still healing those wounds now. So even just, you know, doing these live videos and stuff, that's healing for me. Being able to share my voice in that way, and people can be so cruel, and it makes me really sad to know that there are people out there that are so hurtful. But then I always think it's about what's going on in that person too. You know, why are they like that? I mean, it's always a bit of a cycle, isn't it, when it comes to that, and body image and how people perceive you and themselves.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. And every woman's got a story. Every man can even have a story. You know, body image isn't just about women. I say women because I'm used to working with women, but it's about men and women. And I think, you know, we all bring something to the table with where we're at right now. So I guess, you know, there's a lot of information out there now about, you know, thoughts, beliefs and biology, how they're all linked, you know, the way that we think, what we believe. I think it was 2016, I created a body comfort course, which is about being comfortable in your body with where you're at. And we went deeper into that. And, you know, you can explore that and you could go to the nth degree. But we haven't got enough time tonight, and I've got to try and rein it in, and I've got so much to say. It's like, oh my God. So, but, you know, our thoughts and our beliefs and all those things just come together. And then what happens is there's a reinforcement of that. So the way that we think about ourselves or what we believe about ourselves, we reinforce that. And then we attract that to us. So if we are sitting there saying, I'm not good enough, or I'm fat and ugly, or you know, whatever it might be, it's like we attract people toward us that will reinforce that for us. They could either put us down, or, you know, there's just things that can happen, or they'll allow you to put yourself down, and then it just all culminates. So to me, you know, the beliefs and the biology and the thoughts, they're all linked together, and that's one big, I think you do a whole workshop on that, you know, it's massive. I guess a little bit you asked me about my journey, so I thought what I might do is just talk a little bit about that. So this is very personal, and it's my journey. So please, anyone out there does not have to think the same way that I think. This is just my journey, but it's in relation to body image. And I think one of the things that I think when I'll think about sort of stepping out, so I'm sort of, here I am, I'm a young adult, and I think I had these expectations, I guess, of what I think life should be like. And I got married young, and I had these expectations of this amazing marriage and having children, having white picket fence, you know, you know, that sort of unreal image. Or maybe it could be real for some, but it wasn't for me. So I had those expectations, but you know, the funny part about that was, Corinna, I never shared those expectations with my partner. I never shared those expectations with anyone. So here I am sitting there, little me, having my own expectations, and they're not being met because nobody knows them, let alone me being able to verbalize them. So it's like, oh my God, I have these expectations, and it's like, nothing's happening. Then when nothing was happening, and you know, I was becoming, you know, disappointed that life wasn't going the way I wanted, and I always felt like I wasn't good enough. But I mean, obviously that stemmed from years and years before. But I never felt like I was good enough, and I wanted to have children, and I had children. I felt like I was a failure as a mum, and I went, oh, you know, it was just like this culmination of things that happened. And then I thought, oh, I guess what I need to do is step into my power. And then there becomes this, for me, there can become this abusive power. It's like, if I can't get what I want here, I will just find someone who likes me, or someone who thinks more of me, instead of getting it from within. It was like looking for it from without. So from my partner, who it wasn't forthcoming in the way that I had the expectations. From anybody out there, it was just like somebody, you know, just recognized me. It wasn't that I was out there looking for everyone, but it was like I wanted some sort of, you know, I was just looking for that void that was within. And I guess with that, I got to a point and I thought, well, I'll have another baby. And I already mentioned all the things that happened in relation to my reproductive health. But I had a stillborn. And when Corinna Henry was born, it was like, wow. It was like the ultimate failure for me. And I guess the fact that so before that there was betrayal on both parts, and so it was like that was the ultimate for me. When I lost her, I had this Catholic upbringing. I had this belief that it was guilt, and that was my punishment. You know, my punishment. The baby died. It was all my fault. So I went into this deep dive of distraction, this deep dive of drinking, not giving a shit, living life on my terms. And there comes that power, that abuse of power. You know, it has to be my way or the highway. Hey, if you'd recognise that as an Aquarian, you might understand that.
Oh, I get that.
You know? But yeah, but that sort of thing. And you know, that grief was overwhelming, and I didn't know how to cope with that. I didn't even know how to live my life as a married woman. I didn't even know how to be a mother. I didn't know. I lost the baby. I felt like it was my ultimate failure as a woman. And that was because I was holding her in my arms and looking at her and going, well, what did I do wrong? And that's a whole nother story because, you know, but there's all the things that come with that. So could you see that when you come to this place of working in a psychiatric unit and you've got trauma slamming you in the face, it was like, oh shit, I've got to stop. And I've really got to look at life and I've got to take a hold and take the reins with who I am. So it was like, what the only option for me was letting go. You know,
I don't like niggers. I don't like